Mr. Secretary, it's my estimation that your department is just weak, it's feckless, and at best, your department is incompetent. I could go through a litany of examples. We could talk about Afghanistan. We could talk about the missteps you had in Ukraine. We could talk about the Houthi rebels. We could talk about the vacillation with Israel. But the most distilled example is the most recent, and that's Turks and Caicos. The reason so distilled is you don't have the complexity of the other issues. Turks and Caicos, you have 5 Americans that are wrongfully detained, not technically wrongfully detained in a word of, in a phrase of diplomacy, but these are individuals that had at most 20 rounds of ammunition. They've been treated atrociously by a government that represents 60,000 people in a geography that has a landmass that's roughly 2.5 the size of DC. I mean, this is not even a sovereign nation. It's a protector to the British Empire or the UK. And you can't tell me that you can't put a do not travel today on Turks and Caicos and bring the 4 Americans that still remain in Turks and Caicos home. It would take one order to bring 4 Americans home. 4 Americans, by the way. One is a grandmother from Florida she was caught with 2 rounds of ammunition in her purse. She was chained to a desk for 3 days. Your State Department, your officials, did not come and visit her. It was up to the other American detainees to bring her food, water, a pillow, a blanket for that night. My constituents, your State Department didn't even call my constituent for 2 months into his detention. Even though he was in a jail for a period of days, no health and comfort visit from your department. So again, I'm just really baffled by again the weakness and incompetence of your department. You can prove me wrong. Issue the do not travel to Turks and Caicos today. Bring the Americans home. I yield back.
Well, thank you, Congressman. It won't surprise you to know that I fundamentally
Mr.
disagree with
Secretary Blinken, I yield back to the chair. You don't need to say anything. You can issue a detention. You can issue a do not travel, end the detention of those Americans and bring them home. We're done talking. You need to now act. That is what you need to do. Issue the do not travel today. Bring them home.